Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another episode that we're talking about voiceover, obviously. That's my thing. That's what I do. I wanted to talk about something that will actually help you with your career. Let me adjust this real quick. I'm getting too much proximity effect. I don't want the proximity effect too much. It will actually help you with your career, and it will actually benefit you in many ways. And it is something that every voiceover artist, every single voice actor struggles with, especially at first. And it's very unhealthy, and it's very stupid to do it, actually. And it is comparing yourself to other voice actors and letting other people's success weigh you down or make you feel bad. This is something that I have struggled with throughout my life of doing voiceover. And part of that is because I think very little of my own skills on everything that I do. When it comes to art, when it comes to writing, when it comes to acting, when it comes to comedy, voice acting, I think very little of my skills. So I always see everyone else as being more successful, as being better at it, all around. And it's just something that I, constantly having to remind myself, constantly that I'm having to work on, on me. You always have something about you that you have to work on. Anyone who says that they don't have anything about themselves that they need to work on are the people that need the most work. But there are tons of voice actors that I know personally, tons of friends, good friends, as well as some people that I kind of know as more acquaintances, and I'm always seeing their posts, I'm always seeing their tweets, their Facebooks, their Instagrams, whatever, what have you, and they're always doing something or getting roles that I obviously would love to have, or roles that I've been shooting for. There are two particular voice actors, I'm not going to name their names, that I'm always auditioning for a role, and like less than a month later, I'll see that they got it. It happens multiple times, in a row. Like it constantly happens. There are two voice actors, and they have not been doing voiceover as long as me. One of them has been doing it for maybe a fifth of the amount of time that I've been doing voiceover. But excuse you. Did I get it? No. Give me a second. I'll probably edit this out. Where is it? Where are you? I didn't get him, but I hope he's gone. Fly or whatever. But there are two voiceover artists that are constantly coming up, and I'm constantly seeing that they got roles that I auditioned for, or roles that I would love to have, or this and that, and their career moves faster than me on a very fast pace. Moves further than me on a very fast pace. They're basically at a point that I'll probably never catch up to them, because by the time I get to where they are, they'll be, obviously miles ahead. And periodically that does affect me. It does bother me. It does, hurt my feelings. But it's like he only moves and flies around when he knows I'm talking. And that's upsetting. But trying to continue, Jesus. I really wish I could just put spiders up there where I'll never see them and they'll never get in my way. Anyway, the point is, if I can get through this, the point is that there are tons of roles that they get, more professional, higher caliber projects. But there are tons of roles that I got that maybe they've wanted, or, I'm sure other people are jealous of, and they're roles that I enjoyed and I would never trade, that I had a lot of fun doing them. And I do get paid to do voiceover, so it's it's not fair for you or for anyone to compare themselves to other people. It's not healthy, and it doesn't help you. Of course, when you start out, you're naturally drawn to comparing yourself to other people to know where you sit or what kind of voiceover to pursue or what kind of demo to have or what kind of studio to build or what kind of mic to get. You're going to be comparing yourselves on those kinds of levels. But as far as your career and where it takes you and the kind of roles you get, you're always going to get different roles. You're going to lose out on more opportunities than you're going to land. You're going to get fewer roles than you audition for. That's a guarantee. You're going to audition, if you're lucky, maybe 20 auditions and you land one role, if you're lucky. If you're the average, then it's probably more like 50 auditions to one actually getting the role, which means that there are tons of roles that you auditioned for that you probably wanted and probably would have enjoyed that went to someone else. And whether it was because they had a better agent, whether it was because they had a better demo, whether it was because they did a better performance, whether they just sounded better or their voice was what the producer or writer or director had in their mind, is irrelevant to the fact that someone is always going to get the roles that you want. And there is no healthy, logical reason to beat yourself up over it. It's not like you did anything wrong. I mean, if you did the best that you could do on the audition, if you have the best demo that you could put together, if you are taking classes and, coaching and you have the best setup that you could make, then the roles you get are probably the best ones, or are probably, that's the best you could do. You can always do better, but that's going to come with time. It takes time for you to get up to a point where you can, get better. But even if you do get better, even if you do get a better studio, even if you do get a better mic, even if you've taken, coaching with 10 different professionals, and you have a $2,000 demo, you're still going to lose out on roles. No matter how many years you've been doing this, no matter how good your setup is, no matter how good the mic is, no matter how expensive the demo, you're going to lose out on roles. There's always going to be someone else to get more roles than you. It can't be avoided. It can't be avoided. And there are tons of, big voice actors that, who have been doing, things for the longest that I'm sure lose out on opportunities as well. There's tons of those guys that want to keep doing like the same roles over and over and over and over again, but studios will sometimes go and hire younger voice actors, whether it's because they want the reliability of longevity or the rates are better or what have you. Maybe that person just fit the energy of the read better than the guy who'd been doing it for a long time. What have you. You're always going to lose out on it. It's just not fair for you to compare yourself to other voice actors because you don't want to have that going around in your head. The only person you should compare yourself to is the past you. That's it. The only person that you should weigh yourself against is you a year or 6 months ago. That's it. No one else. No one else matters. No other perspective, comparison. It doesn't matter. And yes, you could compare like, okay, this person has a cleaner, studio or setup or microphone or demo. Those are the kind of things that you can kind of look at and analyze, okay, how do I want to restructure my thing? That's fine. That's on a technical level, though. That's not performance. And that's not, where your career is taking you. Every year I get big roles, some pretty fun roles that, if, I probably wouldn't have gotten a year or 2 years ago. Even if I auditioned or, even if I built a good relationship with them, they probably wouldn't have given them to me. There's been tons of opportunities that I've gotten with like cartoon hooligans. I constantly bring them up because, you know, I've gotten to do so many different voices for them. You know, there were a lot of roles that I would not have pitched myself even to them, having worked with them for a while, to do. Like Batman, I would have never pitched to do Batman. And if someone came in and did Batman for them after John Bailey, you know, broke from doing cartoon hooligans, you know, I would have totally understood. But they came to me, asked me if I could do Batman. I did my version of Batman, and they liked it. So sometimes that happens, you know? It really it's more complicated than this person's just better than you all around. If you go on castingcall.club, yes, fine. If you go on there, you'll see lots of projects that pay, that are fun, that you post an audition, and your audition on a technical level is better than everyone else's. It's cleaner sounding. It's, you know, it's proper format. It's not peaking. There's no noise in the background, all this kind of stuff. And they will still end up going with someone else. It's a very complicated game. It's very nuanced, and it's so complicated and nuanced that's why beating yourself up over not getting certain roles or other people being more successful, you know, isn't healthy. It doesn't help. But I know tons of voice actors who are, you know, do a lot of anime, who do a lot of video games, who do, you know, stuff for major studios, who the reason that they are more successful than me is partly because of location, because of where they live. They live in California, and, you know, they just run into people that they can, you know, that give them an opportunity to do voiceover, a very small role, and then that person knows somebody, and that person knows somebody, and that person knows somebody. But they still had to have the talent. I'm not saying that they didn't. They still had to have the talent, and they still had to have the drive to do it. They had that slight edge that I didn't have. And there's going to be tons of situations like that. And, you know, maybe there's going to be a studio in Texas, and I'm going to run into one of those people, and then they're not going to be able to get that role. It's very complicated. It's very nuanced. And it's not worth stressing yourself out over, beating yourself up over, or feeling bad about yourself or judging yourself because you didn't get those roles. It's not worth it. That's what I wanted to say. And I think it's probably the healthiest thing that I could tell you guys to do. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Totally fine, but you have to say why. Otherwise, it's illegitimate. It's an illegitimate thumbs down. Subscribe if you're new. Bell for notifications. And leave a comment down below. Like to ask me any questions. Want to just chat. What have you. And that's going to be it. Until next time. Peace.